We are on day 7 of the 12 Days of Yule challenge, connecting with our land. So throughout this video, you're going to see pictures of my land, videos of my land, and the animals that live here. We're a little bit different in where we live. We live on about 3 to 4 acres at the edge of a lake, and so we're in the bay of the lake, and we're at the very tail end of the bay. And we are surrounded by another 3 to 4 acres of protected land. And it's funny, when people talk about the winter time, they think about the land slumbering. In our experience, the land, it's the plants that slumber for the most part, not all, but a lot of them, they go into the hibernation phase. But we still have all this life going on with the animals. We do live in the foothills, and so we live in a valley space in between 2 big hills. And in the valley space, it's really just us here. So there's not a lot of building, and we are very conscious about what we do on the land, because we realize that we live within an ecosystem. It's not just us, but us and the spirits that live here, the animals that live here, and the plants that live here. And we're really conscious about that fact and thinking about it any time that we're making any type of adjustment to the land, of what does the spirits need, what do the animals here need, what do we need, and how can we do it in a way that's harmonious for all of us. And that can present some different challenges when you're creating sacred space for yourself, but also for everything else that exists within this tiny little ecosystem in our valley. For us, winter isn't as much about downtime. We do get more downtime in the winter because it gets darker sooner, and so we have more indoor time, and the weather, contributes to that as far as ice and snow and what we can do. But in the winter, we have a lot of jobs. So because we sit at the end of the bay, we have a lot of cleanup to do throughout the winter, getting all the trash that's washed up to the shores and that's gone down into the creek bed. That's all been washed from the big lake that we sit upon. We're also cleaning up a lot of the logs and things, natural things that float up as well. And we have one space that's a shallower, more swampy kind of area, but it's where a lot of the smaller fish tend to come to breed and have their babies. And we have issues with some invasive species that have started really taking out the smaller fish within the lake. And so as we're moving these logs and these things that have washed up and down trees that have come down in the area, we're constantly using those within that space to create hidden spaces so those fish can really propagate and have safe spaces to have more babies and to repopulate that fish population, because almost all of our other animals depend on the fish. We have, our hawks and our eagles, our cranes, the seagulls that come through, the fox, the raccoons, our possum. We have a lot of animals that really depend on the fishery. And so that's always a common concern for us. Also, we're doing a lot of cleanup just in the down trees and tree maintenance, ensuring those spaces are cleared, but also are creating spaces for our animals to propagate. So we're really conscious about these things. We also have a problem where there's so much building that's been going on around us on the different hills that it is pushing our animals deeper and deeper into our valley, and we're getting more and more that we didn't have before, and the populations are growing here. And so in winter, our valley doesn't have enough food supply. So that is something that we really beef up in the winter, is our food offerings, putting out fish and pastas and roast, different things like that for our animals to eat throughout the year. But we do it heavily in the winter because those food sources are more scarce here. We don't have a lot of money. We're not rich. We don't have a bunch of extra money to do this. And with food prices this year has been a real struggle, but we're figuring it out. We're making concessions. I make a roast, and our family gets a portion of that, and the rest of the portion goes out to the animals. We're buying a lot more heavy on the fish side, which is good. I mean, it's what they're used to anyway, and it's normally what we feed as well, but we're kind of focusing on the fish because it tends to be a little bit cheaper and easier for us to get and put out for them. We're also preparing and thinking about where can we grow different food sources. Blackberries, getting more blackberries, getting some fruit trees in here, you know, what other type of plant propagation, or lettuces and things like that that we can plant out in the more woody area where they can still get light but still grow. And that becomes a challenge with the deer, because the deer are like vacuum cleaners and they don't allow things to grow very well. So we're dealing with that challenge. We're trying new things every single year. We're trying different ways of making that work in order to sustain everybody and to really grow more food here to where the birds can get to it and the smaller animals can get to it and the deer can get to it. That way they're able to be more self-sustained on the property. So yeah, winter is a lot about cleanup. It is a lot about moving things in order to create the right environment and to help everybody that's here, the spirits that are here, the animals that are here, the plants that are here, and just doing our best at creating this sacred space. So yeah, I mean, I'm never really disconnected from the land because of where we live and because of the choices that we make. But it changes. It looks different. Different seasons look different. Our focuses, our projects. And during winter, we're really focused on the animals because they're in survival mode and there's not a lot of greenery here. So we're figuring out supplementing, and we're figuring out, you know, how to beef up offerings even on small budgets. So yeah, this is our winter. You might want to watch until the end. There's a really cool video at the very end, and it's peanut butter pumpkins. It's something that we have started doing every year now. The kids will carve jack-o'-lanterns for October, and then come the 1st of November, we take them and slather them up with peanut butter and fill them up with the peanut butter and nuts, and then we put them out for the animals to feast on and have a good time. And they do. They really love it. So yeah, thanks for hanging in, and this is what my winter looks like.